guys, it's Nick from Altered Reality Games here. This past Saturday we had the release of the newest TCG game to hit the market, Redakai. A lot of people were talking about this and it's very highly anticipated, especially with some of the innovation the game introduces into the TCG market. We had a lot of players show up actually for the release event, and I think the game is going to be very hot and take off. Once the cartoon show comes out next month, I think it's going to get even more popular. It's a base set of about 160 cards if I remember right, and as you can see, a lot of product here. We're going to go over the product, explain what came out with the base release here. I'm also going to demo both little basic and advanced gameplay. We had some subscribers out there ask about the game, if we can give a little information, and we're here to answer your questions for you. So first we're going to go over the product, then basic gameplay and advanced gameplay. A little brief summary on all of them. So keep watching and hope you enjoy. The best way to get introduced to Redakai is to buy the basic starter set, which they call a championship set. In the championship set you get everything you see here. You get the card holder, because obviously all the cards are see-through, so you don't want the opponent to see them. So you have the card layout. This is what you'll put your hand in when you play. You get your battlefield, which you play your 3 character cards on. Those will be explained later in the gameplay. You get your deck box. Now since the cards are see-through, you can't see through the deck box. You'll also get an amount of randomized cards. You get 44 cards. They're called X drives. You'll get 44 exclusive semi-random cards. Each championship set does not come with the same amount of cards, so it's always good to pick those up if you and a buddy want to pick them up. And you'll place your deck in the deck box, obviously. It's pretty cool, actually. Very solid. It's not going to break. Your championships, your battle zone here, you'll connect to an opponent. So you guys, this will be your battlefield. You'll see in gameplay. And I mean, for the cost of about $30, it's great. You get right into the game. You get all the essentials that you need, and it's obviously something you got to pick up. So make sure you get this first and foremost when you want to if you want to just experience the game before you go into deep customization. I think this is a great thing to pick up. Another way to get into Redakai without going the championship set route are starter decks. Spin Master has released 4 different starter decks for you with the initial release. Each one comes with exclusive cards based on which deck you get, and 1 exclusive gold rare card, or gold pack card as they're called, that'll be explained later when I show you the different types of boosters that have been released. Each one comes with its own set of advantages and disadvantages, obviously, so it's kind of like a system of checks and balances. And each one comes with exclusive cards that pertain to that starter deck. So I recommend that you pick up at least 1 of each if you want to get all the exclusive cards that you can only get in the starter decks, and you get the chance to pull really amazing gold pack cards. These run about $20 each. Like I said, I recommend you pick up 1, therefore you'll have all the cards that are exclusive just to the starter decks. Yet another great way to get into the world of Redakai. You pick up 1 of these and a championship set, you're good to go, and you can take down anyone probably. Next we're going to show you the 2 different kinds of booster packs that they released. Alright, basic gameplay in Redakai is very simple. You pick 1 character card to start. A character's life is up here on the top left, the 3 yellow bars. Once those 3 yellow bars are filled up with red from attacks, as you'll see, the character is knocked out and you lose the game. Advanced gameplay you'll have 3. Basic gameplay you have 1 character you start with. Now on the left side here are defense zones. I chose to start with Boomer, so he has 300 defense to green. There are 3 color attacks in this game, blue, red, and green. So if I choose to play a green against Boomer, it has to be stronger than 300 to do damage. Red and blue would hit instantly because he does not have any resistance to those. You also do not worry about the abilities on the bottom of your cards here during basic gameplay. This is to attract the younger audiences to get in the game, and when we get to advanced gameplay, those are for the lifers of TCGs such as myself who have been around for a long time, and give you in-depth strategy that way. So it appeals to both children as young as 5 or as old as you want to be and play this game. Catches all ranges. So we're going to start here. You don't worry about casting costs either. I'll explain that in advanced gameplay as well. So you just play cards and you draw them. For example, I'm going to play this card, Doom Jaws. It has an attack power green of 350. Boomer can only stop up to 300, as you can see. So this is going to hit him, and it's going to take away 1 life of his on the bottom. Now that the red bar is filled up, he is down to 2 hits on his top and middle sections. So Boomer has to be careful. Since he just took a green attack, Boomer sounds pretty worried. He's going to change into a monster. As you can see now, he has 3 defense zones, all green, adding him up to a defense power of 900 against green spells. Now he is also open to red and blue, so that may not be a wise decision, but who knows, it depends on the luck of the draw. So now it would be the opponent's turn. The opponent then plays Earth Slam. That would hit Boomer in his transformed state, taking him down another life in his middle section. Boomer is now down to 1 life on his top bar. That's not good. But luckily Boomer was prepared for the situation and brought another monster card to transform himself into, called Drudger. Drudger also came with a yellow bar on him in the middle section, so he just healed a life. He now has 2 life on the top and the middle. Also, it gave him different defense zones. He now has resistance to blue up to 500 and green up to 600 because the zones change. And the great thing about this game, you'll notice, is that you can keep track of the game state without pen and paper like most common games are. You can just keep track of it just by looking at the cards, how they stack. That's the great thing about the technology of these cards being cleared. They stack. You can always look at game state without having to worry about resources to keep track of it. Now, I was clever enough. I thought that, the opponent might be ready to heal himself, so I played this card, which is called Degeneration. Degeneration takes away the ability of this for advanced gameplay, and the card art also goes on the left side into the defense zones, neutralizing all his defense. Boomer no longer has any defense of any colors, wide open for an attack. So that leaves me to my finisher. Before Boomer had 500 resistance to blue, now he has none. I'm going to finish him off with a rare card called Claw Slice. It hits his 2 remaining zones on top and bottom, and Boomer is now finished. I have won the game. So as you can see, basic gameplay is very simple. You play a card when you draw it. You don't have to worry about Kairu, as will be explained. You don't have to worry about multiple characters or abilities. It's just a great way to get into the game for young kids, like I said. And make sure you stay tuned. We're going to show you advanced gameplay after this. Alright, for advanced gameplay, as you can see, it's a little bit different. You'll have your display to set your hand in so your opponent can't see your cards, obviously, because they're see-through. You have your deck here inside your nifty deck box, so you can't see what cards you're drawing either, neither can the opponent. And your battlefield size increases to 3 characters, like I said, instead of 1. Abilities on the bottom of your cards do come into play now. Like, for example, Maya here, she says when you play a monster on me, you may draw a card. So each one will have different abilities. As you'll see on the cards also that I draw, they may have abilities as well. Now, we're just going to show you this card, for example. This is a super rare that you didn't see earlier in the video. It costs 8 to play. It's called Shadow Punch. Shadow Punch is a green attack card of 550, and it says if this card hits, I get to take another turn. So as you see, some do have effects on the bottom here as well. So you'll determine who goes first, obviously, through rock, paper, scissors, or die roll, whatever you choose. And your opening hand will be 3 cards. So you'll place your cards in here. And Kairu, or mana referred to in common other TCG games, are what you use to cast the cards up in the left top corner here with the numbers there. You begin the game with 3, and when each turn you'll go up 1. So for my first turn I'll go up to 4. You see there's counters also on here that you clip, and there's numbers along the top here to keep track of your Kairu, and it also says it on the back so the opponent can see what you're at. So every turn you'll go up 1 Kairu max. For example, I started with 3, I begin my turn, I go up to 4. Next turn will be 5, then 6, then 7. Your max always goes up by 1 every turn. At the beginning of every turn, you also replenish any used Kairu you may have used to cast your cards. So I've chosen the team of Maya, Cause, and Boomer. The opponent will do the same. Your battlefields will be connected here, so the opponent would have one facing the opposite way here. There's 2 little connectors in here, so they'll be side by side. And it's pretty simple, actually. It's the same way. You'll each take turns playing cards against each other. The only difference is you have teams of 3, and abilities do go into effect on the cards. There are other cards also known as react cards. In Yu-Gi-Oh terms, those would be trap cards, and in Magic cards, those would be considered instant cards. Those can be played during your opponent's turn. For example, the card Doomjaw is right here. It has the react if you pay 3 Kairu and you discard this. And it says characters on your team have plus 500 green defense this turn. So there are cards that you can throw your opponent off with. There are also monsters that you could play as reacts. For example, Zytron. You can play him as a react, as his ability says. It costs 4, which would then give your character plus 500 green defense that the opponent never saw coming, and you have another monster on the field. This is where strategy comes in, obviously. You can customize your deck as you will, and it can get very in-depth, obviously. A lot of cards that you haven't seen in the game, as the base set is 160 cards. And the objective to win advanced gameplay is the same as basic, except you have 3 characters. You have to knock out all 3 character cards on the opposing team. Now, one question people have is, how do you know what cards are your own? How do I know my cards will not be stolen? That's a very good question, actually, and I'll show you. Because as obviously, the opponent will have a battlefield facing the opposite way from you. So just pretend that's there, alright? So you play monster cards on your own characters. You cannot play attacks on your own characters, at least not yet. Cards like that haven't been introduced. Who knows if it will be in the future. So let's say there's cards on the other side. I would lay my attack cards on your guy. That's how you determine the damage and card state, obviously, because things was just stacked on top of each other. So then, at the end of the game, when the result is in, what you do, one player goes before the other player, and this is how it goes. You would take off 1 stack, attack cards on there since they were played by the opponent, you hand them over to your opponent, any monsters were yours, you place them on your side of the field, and you go down your subsequent rows, and you do that, hand the cards back and forth, so then you make sure that no cards were stolen. For example, I played this attack card on the opponent's guy. If I had an opponent, he would hand me back my attack card, he would take any monsters he had, put them on his side, and you go stack by stack, side by side, until both players have completed that operation, and then therefore no cards can be stolen. And when it comes to shuffling the deck, you have to avert your eyes, which isn't that hard, so you take turns one at a time. The opponent can watch you shuffle if they feel they need to. Take turns one at a time shuffling, and then you can either have the person next to you playing, or you can call over a judge for the game if you cannot do it on your own, and you put it in your deck box, like so, and you're ready to go. Redakai is a very simple game to learn and very hard to master, just like chess. A lot of customization goes into it, a lot of cards out there. The limit for cards you can play 3 copies of any card in a deck, no more. Deck sizes must be 40 cards, no more, no less from my understanding. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section down below. We're also going to be opening a forum section for that soon on our forums. There'll be a link in the description box for our forums page. Make sure you check that out. Also, please follow us and like us on Facebook. We have 2 separate Alter Reality pages there. And as always, subscribe. I hope that you like this little quick glimpse into the world of Redakai. If there's any questions you need answered, make sure you check out our forums, like I said. And if you have any future videos you'd like done on this or other games, feel free to leave those comments on our forums as well. I hope you enjoyed this. This is Nick signing off for Alter Reality Games, guys. Play hard or go home.